Hey everyone, I'm Fox at Foxy Games UK. Follow me via Twitter at FoxyGames_UK as seen in the bottom right of your screen. Make us your regular aggregate source of news, rumour and video game discussion, now covering all platforms and home to the Gamer Couch podcast, live every Sunday at 12 PM PST, 3 PM ET and 8 PM BST. All links can be found in this video's description. In today's video, so most of us have learned a ton of information regarding the Xbox Scorpio, and all thanks to a surprise Digital Foundry Eurogamer exclusive reveal earlier today. But in case you missed it or simply want to catch up recap style, please take a seat and allow me to lay it all out for you. So last week, Digital Foundry was invited to Microsoft's Redmond campus for an exclusive preview of the technology in the next Xbox codenamed Projekt Scorpio. Scorpio is seemingly running ahead of schedule and likely just 6 months away from launch. Combined with smart design and raw horsepower, Projekt Scorpio hits the 6 T-flop target that Microsoft set out at last year's E3, and it's all thanks to a custom GPU that has been designed from the ground up for optimal performance, ready for today's most advanced game engines. Here's a rundown of Microsoft's latest console specs. Xbox Scorpio's GPU is paired with 12GB of fast GDDR5 memory and a custom 8-core CPU with state-of-the-art cooling. Now, Digital Foundry witnessed a Forza Motorsport demo running on Scorpio at native 4K with Xbox One equivalent settings, hitting 60 frames per second, but with plenty of juice left in the tank, indicating Scorpio will hit its native 4K targets across a variety of games, with power to spare on visual improvements. And though 4K is the target, 1080p users needn't worry, as Microsoft is paying attention to owners of Full HD TVs, promising that all modes will be available to them. Now, what sets these two consoles apart are certainly the internals. Now, Xbox Scorpio has a 2.3 GHz 8-core Jaguar X86 CPU, a surprisingly modest upgrade over the PS4 Pro's 2.1 GHz CPU. But the GPU is really what separates the two consoles, with Scorpio rocking an impressive customized 40 compute unit at 1172 MHz, compared to PS4 Pro's still impressive 36 compute units running at 911. With memory also being a differentiator, with super fast 12GB of GDDR5 RAM, that's 3 more gigabytes than PS4 Pro's 9GB of fast GDDR5 RAM setup. And also in terms of memory bandwidth, Xbox Scorpio takes the advantage here also, with an impressive 326GB per second bandwidth compared to PS4 Pro's 218. And Scorpio will ship with a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drive, just like the Xbox One S. Now, Microsoft showed a Forza Tech demonstration with the Xbox One engine operating a native 4K at a locked 60 frames per second. Forza developer Turn 10 managed to get Forza 6 running in 4K at 60 frames per second in just 2 days, showing just how simple and streamlined it will take for devs to upgrade Xbox One games to take advantage of Xbox Scorpio. Here's a quote. "We're still running with settings that we could have used in Forza 6, but this is also including 4K content. We've got authored assets for this set of models, cars, tracks and everything. We pushed it through and made sure the 4K textures were flowing through." Now, Projekt Scorpio has also certainly evolved since Xbox boss Phil Spencer presented at 2016's E3, now sounding a lot like Sony's PS4 Pro hardware. 4K Ultra HD visuals for 4K panels are the target, but with Microsoft feeling the burn from the comparatively underpowered OG Xbox One, Microsoft have gone for a fully substantial spec upgrade over the PS4 Pro in virtually all areas. That being said, Sony's smart GPU design tech is very much part of the Xbox Scorpio system, just delivered with a lot more horsepower. Here's a quote. "As far as Microsoft is concerned, 4K means a very specific set of things. It's a lot more than delivering those 8 million pixels to the screen while playing games. It's also about delivering those pixels with 4K assets, so they look great. It's about delivering those pixels with HDR and wide color gamut fidelity." So Scorpio's SoC, that system on chip, custom designed with AMD, will feature 100% compatibility with all Xbox One software and hundreds of Xbox 360 backwards compatible titles. According to the Xbox hardware team, your existing library of games should run smoother, look a lot better and load faster. Now, Sony's PS4 Pro uses what Digital Foundry have called the butterfly approach to the GPU design, effectively mirroring the base unit's GPU with an extra rank of 18 compute units and doubling the power. Sony had ensured complete compatibility simply by turning off one of the two GPUs within the Pro, but recently introduced boost mode and effectively turned that dormant GPU back on, allowing for a boost to the standard PS4 games. Now, Microsoft have taken a much harder route here and has done so by necessity. It doesn't have the option of doubling up on its existing design, as Scorpio is a different architecture entirely to the Xbox One S, really lending credence to many believing this could be a step up to a next generation rather than a half step one. So here it's down to the platform holder and developers to take ownership of compatibility issues, but the advantage is this: unlike PS4 Pro's boost mode, Scorpio theoretically allows for the full power of the new console to be deployed on older games. In fact, there are 5 different ways in which Scorpio aims to improve the experience for owners of the existing Xbox One games, and these should also be applied to Xbox 360 backwards compatibility titles. Using 40 Radeon compute units in the custom Scorpio engine ramped up to a remarkable 1172 MHz, a huge increase over the Xbox One's 853 MHz and indeed the PS4 Pro's 911. Xbox Scorpio's GPU is only 94 MHz off the maximum boost clock of AMD's Polaris-based RX 480 graphics card, which also has 36 compute units just like PS4 Pro's underclocked version, with a slight caveat that the RX 480 on a PC requires a serious custom cooler to sustain its max boost clock. Now, in terms of memory bandwidth, Scorpio runs its GDDR5 modules across 384-bit GDDR5 interface that uses 12 32-bit channels. The modules themselves run at 6.8 GHz, offering 326 GB of memory bandwidth, with the benefit of AMD's Delta Color compression system featured in PS4 Pro but not in Xbox One S. On top of that, Xbox Scorpio comes with a whopping 12 GB of memory. That's 8 GB reserved simply for games for the developers, with 4 GB reserved for the OS. Now, in terms of the CPU, by now you've guessed it's not Ryzen, it's still Jaguar, but on the CPU side there's been a ton of rumors that Scorpio would feature AMD's new Ryzen technology. Unfortunately, due to production costs and timelines, Microsoft went with the upclocked Jaguar CPU cores, the same as Xbox One, S, PS4 and Pro. Now, the new x86 cores in Scorpio are 31% faster than Xbox One. Now, with an extension customization to reduce latency in order to keep the processor occupied fully, with the CPU/GPU coherency also getting a performance uplift. Incidentally, the CPU boost is almost exactly the same as PS4 Pro's, which offers a 31% boost in terms of CPU over the standard PS4. So Projekt Scorpio doesn't feature Ryzen cores, but the Xbox team are not so concerned about this, because Microsoft have said, on the CPU side of things, we could still meet our design goals with the custom changes we made. At the end of the day, we are still a consumer product. We want to hit the price points where consumers want to purchase this thing. It's about balancing the two, checks and balances. So what about 1080p TV users? Well, downsampling to 1080p is definitely a key feature of the Xbox Scorpio, much like it is on the PS4 Pro, so Full HD TV users can reap the benefits of this new hardware without forking out the extra money for a 4K TV. Again, much like Sony mandating for PS4 Pro, Microsoft too mandates that all developers, along with the requirement that Scorpio titles should run the same frame rate or higher than the standard Xbox One. Now, in terms of smoother performance and screen tearing, that should be a thing of the past in terms of running Xbox One games and Xbox 360 titles. Just as when the PS4 Pro was first revealed, Digital Foundry is cautious, echoing that gamers should temper their expectations with Xbox Scorpio, as there won't be 30 frames per second games suddenly running at 60 frames per second. The game itself is still locked to that frame target. There are no functions for removing those performance limits. However, the full T-flops of graphical power will be deployed to run your existing library of Xbox content. In fact, there's so much raw power that Microsoft claims gamers will never see a torn frame again in either the Xbox One S or the Xbox 360 games, because Scorpio has enough brute force performance to prevent screen tearing. Well, in all honesty, Xbox One S and 360 games, if they are tearing on a Scorpio, there is simply a design flaw. Now, it's no secret that due to the low performance power of Xbox One, developers had to come up with many tricks to get their games to run acceptably on the Xbox One. Now, whether that was a 30 frame per second game or 60, devs ensured that games scaled down the image quality, running at lower resolutions in order to maintain smooth frame rates. This technique is called dynamic scaling. Games that notoriously implemented dynamic scaling were Doom 2016, Halo 5, Gears of War 4, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and The Division, which were just a handful of scores of titles using this technique on Xbox One hardware. Now, developers have stated they are looking forward to testing one particular title. That would be CD Projekt Red's The Witcher 3. Now, CD Projekt Red have stated it supports dynamic resolution scaling, but we have yet to see the game break past the 900p barrier. Given Xbox Scorpio's 4.6 times improvement in performance, surely the tech is there. We should see it hit 1080p and iron out the performance issues at the same time. Now, Scorpio features game DVR support, of course. Microsoft plans for game DVR on Scorpio are very impressive, featuring 4K 60 video capture with no performance hits. Game DVR works for backwards compatible titles too, which has some benefits but won't allow capturing at 4K, but will feature sharper 1080p video. Xbox Scorpio will definitely benefit from faster loading, with Battlefield 1 campaigns mode taking 2 minutes to load, but not if Microsoft have their way. Due to the Xbox Scorpio's 31 CPU boost, exactly the same percentage boost PS4 Pro received over the standard PS4, well, this 31% CPU boost in terms of clock speed will help games that are CPU bound perform better. Microsoft have confirmed Xbox Scorpio will also improve backwards compat loading times, which is great news. Scorpio also gives developers 8GB of RAM to play with, which will further assist faster loading. Now, apparently, again like the PS4 Pro, some games on Scorpio will suffer compatibility issues in a small number of titles, meaning that certain enhancements will not be applicable to all games. It's certainly the way that boost mode works on PS4 Pro, which has great compatibility overall, but there are issues in a small minority of games in the PS4 library. Now, in terms of form factor and cooling, the rumor has it that Xbox Scorpio will be a smaller, even the same size as the Xbox One S, which is simply untrue. Though Microsoft have promised the console will be smaller than the OG Xbox One, which will once again feature an internal power supply design as the Xbox One S, the Xbox Scorpio will also feature a never seen used before in a console cooling design system, which allows Scorpio to be less of a giant brick like its 2013 predecessor, the OG Xbox One. Now, unfortunately, there's no word on the console's official name, and rumor has it once again that Scorpio will eventually be revealed as Xbox One X, a rather boring name, much like the PS4 Pro's name. Interestingly, there wasn't even a whisper on Scorpio's price. Now, gamers all around the world are thinking just how much is Scorpio going to cost them. Now, Microsoft will want to be mindful of not being astronomically more expensive than the PS4 Pro, or indeed approaching the price of a mid-range PC. But one must expect Microsoft will want to save the finer details for a later date, like E3 2017 taking place in early June. Truth be told, Microsoft have done a great job with Scorpio, a new iteration of the Xbox One S that isn't leagues ahead in power compared to the PS4 Pro. However, Xbox Scorpio is still very much playing in the same sand as PS4 Pro. The only difference is Scorpio has slightly more sand to play with. So, how much is Xbox Scorpio likely to cost? Let me scratch my head here. Well, the smart money says around $499 to $549 US. Really, judging on the specs, features and design of Xbox Scorpio, is certainly every much the premium console Xbox boss Phil Spencer said it would be, and that's pretty much all there is on Projekt Scorpio. Now, Microsoft has the power advantage this time. They need to bring the games, new games, not just wonderful indie titles in 4K, not just fantastically upscaled pre-existing Xbox One or 360 games, but brand new, diverse and interesting AAA IP. The Redmond firm has laid out its intent, and now patient gamers must wait a couple of months until E3 to see what lies ahead. Now, from what I've learned, and particularly necessary to me as I now run a multi-platform channel, and the fact that I wisely sold my Xbox One S around 6 months ago in a deal that was just too sweet to refuse, believe me. So I am definitely going to pre-order Xbox Scorpio, and it will join the family of gaming devices in my home, a super fanboy free zone of joyful pixelated happiness, a place where all consoles can coexist. But what did you think of the reveal? And if you didn't see it and caught up with me here and now, what do you think of my summary? Share your thoughts in this video's comments. And you can expect a whole lot more on Scorpio as and when we learn more. For more on all leading platforms, PS4 Pro, Nintendo Switch and Xbox Scorpio later down the road, you can count on Foxy Games UK to keep you in the game. Keep your eyes glued to this channel for everything multi-platform gaming. And it's been real fun hanging out with you all, but we've come to the end of another video. If you found any of the information in this video at all useful, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe and share this content. You can also help us grow by supporting us via Patreon starting from just $1. You'll find a link in this video's description. And always remember, my filthy neutrals, play games, not corporations. Thanks for watching, everybody.